Hello, I am Natasha Brown, and this is Fav Exclusive. On today's episode, we'll be speaking with a smart, talented young lady who is a women empowerment and leadership advocate. She's the face of the coach, and she is much more. You don't want to go anywhere, for this will be absolutely insightful. Stay tuned.
My name is Caroline Alfred, and I am your host.
I don't love nagging men.
I think if Ed Sheeran is not at my wedding, I may leave the wedding.
So if I'm meeting somebody, I would like that person to...
Every lady out there would like a level-headed man.
What does love mean to you? Spinsters and bachelors get to meet themselves on a blind date, get to know each other better, and get into relationships that would culminate into marriage eventually.
Welcome back. So with me here is a 300 level student of the University of Port Harcourt studying religious and cultural studies. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming here, Miss Augustina Augustine.
Yes.
I love your name.
Thank you so much.
All right, please let's get to meet you real quick.
Of course, I'm Augustina Augustine, a 300 level student of the University of Port Harcourt, like you said. I am the face of the coaches, and I'm also an advocate for women empowerment and leadership. And I'm an event host, a red carpet host. And of course, it's 27th, I have an event, and I would love to see you there.
Okay, you just shot your shot real quick. All right, but absolutely a young lady of many hats. And I understand that you are 19.
Yes.
Where did this passion stem from?
Okay, it came from my fam. I, see my mom, how she works, trying to manage, because I lost my dad at 10. So seeing her keeping up everything and the passion my father had always wanted as his favorite daughter and the first to. So it just came in, and I was fortunate last year to work with thecoaches.com, a coaching academy. So working with them, I developed myself, and they were able to see through this vision and this purpose, which we are now building. And through this advocacy, I've been able to reach out to students, both the girls, the boys, on the streets, raising young leaders, having various projects to ensure that I'm also contributing a part of my quota to ensure the society is a good one.
Absolutely. So now you are talking about women empowerment, women leadership, and all of that. Recently, we're still in the month of celebrating, women's.
Yes.
So it's absolutely amazing to celebrate that. But I still want to ask, why women in particular? Why is that particularly your passion? We have the boy child, we have men, but why women in particular? Is it bordered on feminism?
Not really feminism, but if you call me a feminist, of course I would say yes, because I got to understand better on what feminism is, why the movement started, and I think my advocacy falls in line with it, because women want to be treated equally. We want that equity in a society where we can have access to equal opportunities with no discrimination or just being limited because we are women. So it falls in line, and this is like a part of the movement the feminists from the first wave and the second wave movement also, try to do to ensure that women can be voted for and also run for political participation, which leadership also falls in line. Now, it's centered on women empowerment, or women in particular, because I got to see that I grew up first as a girl child, and seeing that from the family I came from, we've always been treated to be just, you are supposed to be at home, no much education, and also looking at the fact that we were placed to be minor. No matter the level in the family, no matter the hierarchy and all of that, the boy child was always seen superior and more important to the girl child. And also, coming up to see that there were other girls and women who were deprived of leadership participation, and even myself. And I grew up with that stigma where I was told that I wasn't authoritative enough, and not being authoritative could not make me a good leader. But then through this advocacy, I've been able to, work on this, learn more about leadership, the various skills, and looking up to past leaders. For example, Nelson Mandela, who did a good work. And then, it gave me that opportunity to learn more concerning leadership. So that's why it just came. So I'm advocating for women to feel the need to be themselves, use their opportunity. Rather than running from leadership, you embrace it. Because at the point I was like that, I had the opportunity in school, and growing up, I felt like because of what I was told, I could not embrace these opportunities even when they came knocking. So
you were so intelligent. I must give you that.
thank you.
Now, primarily, every time we talk about women empowerment, women leadership, it's almost being frowned upon by a lot of people because
Right.
it seems like women are pushing an agenda.
Of course.
So based on that, I want to ask you, what is your take on, will there ever be something such as a balance between both gender? Will there ever actually be gender equality between both sexes?
Well, I wouldn't say gender equality, but gender equity. And when there is equity and when we understand the difference as individuals, when we look at this and compare and contrast, we would be able to understand that there can be a society where there are equal opportunities for both gender. No discrimination because of the gender or sexual orientation. And that is what we are striving towards. A place where we can stand up to, participate in equal fields. Apparently, or currently now, we have a very lower representation of women in the STEM fields and leadership participation. For Africa, we have over 16% of women in this field. So not just because they don't want to, but because of how we've been labeled in this, seen in the society that we cannot do it. But I believe that there's definitely going to be equity when we understand the difference and we work towards that. Creating change is something that is not just centered on one person, but everybody in that atmosphere. So in creating a balance between both genders where we as women can also do certain things. Like I say, some people also frown at it when you try to talk about issues like this. They already question, why would women be there? Why would she? She can't even lead properly because if she tried to, she would lead with her emotions or stuff like that. All of this words and all of this has also put women in the field that they can't even try to. But already we are seeing women doing it, and it's like an inspiration to we that are also growing up to ensure that we can create that or also join the movement to ensure that women can do these things too.
Okay, Africa as a whole is steeped in tradition, steeped in culture,
Yes.
where it is the man first and the woman follows.
Yes.
Basically, that's how it has been
Right.
from time past. But now we see that there is an awakening. Women are beginning to say, we want equity, we want space, we want respect. If I come up for the same job, I want to be paid equally with my
Right.
male counterpart.
Yes.
What do you have to say about cultural bias when it has to deal with how women are approached as leaders?
Now, I'm glad to be coming from the field of religious and cultural studies because through this, I got to learn more about culture. And then there's one thing to say is culture is dynamic. Now, every of these norms were here before we came. We came and we met them, generations passed, and now I am also excited that women are beginning to see the need to do this and to work towards changing it. But we ourselves cannot do it. That's why the need to also empower our men to see the importance of it comes in. Now, I once learned that the glass ceiling, that's this popular phrase where we relate to women, it cannot be broken from the bottom, but from the top. That's to say, when we have women already at the top, they work towards driving that. They break these limitations or this glass ceiling that is seen as a boundary towards women dominating these fields. So if we're able to break through from the top, to have laws being enforced, we can, as women, walk up to doing what we want to do to ensure that. So for cultures, it can always be changed. It is high time that people begin to open up and learn more that these things were handmade and they can be erased, they can be eradicated. We can change whatever. Now, I'm going to come from the religious part. We were always doing the African tradition before they came in with Christianity. And today, over Africa, over West Africa, people are now participating in Christianity, worshiping God and all of that. So what is the difference? It can also be changed. Even if they've been in the society before now, they can be altered, that women can also be. Because even as a woman, you try to do certain things, you achieve certain heights. It's either you hear them say, she couldn't do that alone, there was a man who pushed her. Or they come from different angles to say, there is a man definitely backing her up. So we're trying to ensure that we can change this. But then the male also have, equal rights to play. Because right now we have more of the male gender in this upper field. So it's their responsibility too. But I think it comes in better when we have men who understand and are working towards it.
That was well said. All right, before we go on, we'll be right back. We'll be going on a short break. Stay tuned. Have you registered for your permanent voter's card? I mean, your PVC. There is a Nigeria we all seek, a place where love, peace, security, and unity can reign supreme.
Waste no time. We want a country where peace and justice will be the order of the day.
Unfortunately, there's a problem. One big challenge this generation has to solve.
Our country cries for help every day. We need able and capable hands to lead and direct.
These capable hands can be you. Have you gotten your PVC? Have you registered for the ongoing voting process? Don't say your vote does not count. Yes, it does.
Have you gotten your PVC? Your apathy towards Nigeria's electioneering process will further inhibit our collective growth and development as a nation. Your refusal to participate and engage will keep us at a standstill. So be intentional.
I have my PVC. Your votes, your voice would go a long way in preventing absolute destruction of this country and the future of our children, the hope of tomorrow.
The 2023 Nigerian elections are just around the corner. Go out and get heard. Don't forget, your vote, your voice. This message is proudly brought to you by THAV Media Limited.
Welcome back. So breaking the bias, what does this actually mean to you since we're celebrating the Happy International Women's Month, so to speak? What does it actually mean to you personally?
Well, for me as a woman or a young lady who has been able to break certain stereotypes in my family, and the fact that I came, like I told you earlier, coming from a place where women were not really respected and valued. So I've been able to break that stereotype that women in my place cannot come out to be successful, own properties, or even be useful in the society. And also children who were raised single-handedly by either a father or a mother turn out to be better people in the society. I think I have broken the stereotypes because I'm living with a purpose. So to me, breaking the bias to women, to young girls out there, it is standing up to saying no when the world tells you to shrink. So when we're told to shrink, as girls, as women, we expand. We spread out our wings and we fly and soar higher above those limitations placed on us.
I think that is one of those topics right now that is overflogged. We see it on social media. Everybody's saying breaking the bias, breaking the bias. But there has to be a balance at a point in time between the boy child and the girl child, between men, between women. So now, should opportunities be predicated on the fact that you are a woman, you are a man? Doesn't it have to deal with competence?
Right.
Good. So if it has to deal with competence, do women have any right to say we demand for this certain percentage when it comes to leadership when they're yet not qualified for it?
No. That's where gender equity comes in, because it is not by favoritism, but it is by you meriting that particular position. So we're not giving, and we're not even striving that we want women to dominate these fields, but also the fact that they can come in, that they also, have equal rights to that place and can do it properly, where you give them the room to do it because you know they're fit for it, the qualifications are there. Not because you want to favor this person because she's a woman, or not because you want her to just come in demanding, or because she's demanding of it. Because when you give somebody who does not have the purpose for it, or who's not even qualified for it, they misuse it, and then it comes back to we women, the world is quick to classify that by one person's character. That's how every other person would be. So eventually they would just turn and then say, we gave her the opportunity, look at how she misused it. If you talk about women doing it, they go back to talking about, I think, Sarah, who was once there, and then they just try to look at the character that she portrayed while she was up there. So,
you mean Sarah Facebook?
Not really. I'm trying
Which
to
of the
remember
Sarahs?
her. I think Obasanjo's wife, so I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
All right. So I will just go further. Now we talk about the bias, breaking the bias, women in leadership, competence, and all of that. But there is such a thing as people have been complaining that even women at the top, the ones that are there so far, do not make enough room for younger ones to actually be able to come through and participate, thereby broadening the percentage of women in leadership space. Is there such a thing as toxic femininity?
I don't really know, but I think everything falls down to the mindset. Because if you are there and you have the passion for other women to also come in.
The mindset of the woman?
Yes.
Okay.
It definitely creates ways for every other person. And the fact that it has not really been accepted in the society or in the culture, it makes it something very hard. Because most of these women go out there and then, if you cannot also educate yourself that you were there to work for a purpose, not because you want to gain that money, the position, or the fame, you know, you definitely ensure that other people that are coming there, you make rooms for them, you know, despite their age, because we have young people now who are making it happen, standing up for that opportunity. So it is based on the mindset, not just because that's who women are.
So now we've talked so much about the women movement, women empowerment, women leadership, and all of that. But if we look through time past, we hardly have certain tags like men movement, men leadership, men empowerment. Men also have their biases, in as much as it is perceived that they have a larger percentage when it comes to empowerment and leadership. There is still that bias where because you're a man, I will not employ you because I want to employ more women in my company, even though the man is fit for the role. So how do we approach that? How do we approach that? For example, you as a face of coach, how are you approaching that with your company, with your brand?
Well, we've made it open to everybody who wants to be a part of our coaching academy that you can join us irrespective of the gender. We're not just building women, we're also making it open to men, but unfortunately we've not really had much men who has joined us, so it's just the women, but it's open to every gender. And so I think if every other person out there owning this organization, especially women, can also adapt and then say, I want this equality you started from your workplaces. Every opportunity you have is a means to create that change. So it's an access to do so. So you start it, and rather than just saying, because I want that balance for women to also come in, you also make way for men. Now, I'm going to also accept the fact that you say men also have their biases, because the world has been seen as a man's world, that they hide their emotions, they don't try to speak up on anything that they face and all of that. So they try to put on the strong armor that they don't let the outside world see what they go through. And they also have the biases that they're also working towards. So it's the officers trying to ensure that they can do that, to create that balance where we have men and we also have women there.
Now, as the face of the coach, working with the brand The Coaches, I understand that there is a campaign on girl empowerment.
Absolutely.
Tell us more about that.
Okay, so we've seen what girls, and especially the ones advancing into the womanhood, we've seen what they're going through. You look at where we are today in River State, to see the issues young girls and women are faced with. And then it comes down to the girl in particular, see the issue of FGM, that's genital, female genital mutilation, the harassment, the rape, the sexual assault, and all these issues, they're much to mention. So we just look at it, and some of these issues also limits the girl child from attaining her dreams, even on the path of her career choice. Some parents look at it, or some people in the society also tell her that you can't do that because you're a girl child. So that's why we set up this campaign, the Girl Empowerment Campaign, to enlighten the public, create awareness that girls can be what they want to be. We should be giving equal opportunities to do that. Rather than seeing the boy child to be more important in the society, we should also open that same arms to other girls in the society, welcome them. You find in some homes that these girls don't go to school because they're just girls, they're being groomed. And we had various live sessions using our Instagram platform to connect with speakers over Africa, and some of them who spoke shared the issues young girls were going through, and also said that some of them were limited to education because they were told that girl-child education is a waste. So we are trying to curb these issues and to also ensure that they can be educated and empowered, because one who is educated is also empowered. So we tend to also go to the schools. We're done with the first phase, which was the online and offline session where we had campaigns on the streets of Port Harcourt. Oh my God, I felt so powerful out there, connecting and speaking more to people to understand the importance of the girl child and why she should be empowered. And then we tend to go to school to give out the books to over 300 girls, and then to reach out to them, to also motivate them, to let them know they're not alone and we're with them. The words from speakers and other persons who want to also participate in the campaign. So that's the next phase coming up, going to the school and educating them too.
Well spoken, well spoken. All right, so for young ladies coming up, what would be your advice for those of them who are interested in being advocates for women empowerment, the girl-child education, and leadership? What would be your advice to them?
Have your purpose. Don't just go in there because you see people driving through what's there. And whenever you're going there, have a vision. Someone without a vision is without a mission. So when you go there with your vision, you have the dedication to work, and you ensure that you can also. Whatever we're doing as advocates, not because we want the glory or the fame, but because we want to create something better for the generation to come. We're here today living in a world shaped by fearless women, because those women stood up for what they wanted and they paved the way for us to be here. Having equal rights to education, learning in the classroom, and all of the things that we have today. So it's our own duty, because we owe it to the younger ones to come, to create that for them as well. So do it with your purpose, your mind, and not because you want to please someone or what you want to gain in return.
Thank you so much, Augustina. Well spoken, well spoken. Thank you so much for staying tuned with us today. I hope that this discussion meets you well and you absolutely enjoyed it. For more of such discussions coming up, we have a lot of amazing guests lined up for you. So follow us on @TAFTV_NG on all of our social media platforms. Subscribe to this very YouTube channel, turn on your notification bell, and stay tuned, because there will be more to come. I am Natasha Brown, and this is Staff Exclusive. Bye for now.